Hello everyone, Xfloin here, and today I want to show you Bloodmage Spark build. Hello, it's me from the future. I'm really sorry that the video will be a little bit laggy because I just noticed that in the previous hideout we have really high, huge lag spikes, not unlike in this one. So once again, I'm really sorry about that, which is one button build. You don't need to press any more buttons. If you want to, you can, but basically it's one build which fills the screen with Spark. It has pretty decent clear speed and it's super easy and cheap to build up, and the scaling goes really well. You can invest money, and the more you invest, basically the more damage you will do and the more clear speed you will have. So first of all, probably let's go over the items. After that we'll go over the skills and then skill tree. So for the items, we're using Widow Hail and Quiver. If you don't want to use them, you can use Wand and Focus, but at this point it was cheaper at this point, so that's why I went for Widow Hail. So basically on Widow Hail, all we need is 2 sockets, so we can equip increased skill speed, and we want Quiver like the bow with at least 250 increased bonuses gained from equipped Quiver. If you happen to have the more, it's better, because the breakpoints of this is 250 or 280, and then you get extra environment for extra 20%, so that will give you 300 total percent. Or if you're rich enough, or if you happen to have Widow Hail with 300 increased bonuses, that works as well. So this is like our main weapon. On the Quiver, it is penetrating Quiver, so 100% chance to pierce an enemy. So all our sparks are piercing enemies while they're traveling forth and back, so it gives us much more damage on that. And on top of that, it has increased projectile speed plus 2 level to all projectile skills, so we can basically increasing our spark gem level, which increases our damage as well. And some other stats, whatever you can get. I got gain 30 life per enemy killed, and projectile have increased critical hit chance against enemies further than 6 meters. And since we usually around 6 meters away from enemies, we get extra critical hit chance on enemies. So next on is the helmet. On the helmet, whatever you want is like energy shield. Most likely the best one would be with energy shield with some life, because when we're casting and we're using a little bit of mana and life together, so you want to compensate for that with some life, mana, increase critical hit chance, and then resistances, just to cap out your resistances. On armor is the same story. Energy shield, this is mandatory because we convert through our ascendancy our energy shield to life. So the more energy shield armor you can get, the more life you will get. Also, the stats is basically just resistances and extra ES, so the higher you can get, the better. On the rings, one of the rings we're using Seed of a Cataclysm, just because it gives critical hit chance and critical spell damage bonus. For that, it gives 10% also increased mana cost of skills and 30% chaos res, which is good. And other one is Call of the Brotherhood, because 100% of lightning damage converted to cold damage. And since our spark is lightning damage, we converting all the damage from the spark to cold damage, and then it deals much more damage, which I will show you in our gems. So next one is the gloves. On the gloves, I'm using Aziri's Acuity, just because of increased critical hit chance and leech from critical hits instant. And since we are having 90% critical hit chance, we're almost always like hitting and leeching the life from them, so it's pretty easy to sustain life at this point. If you don't want, you can sacrifice that critical hit chance, and you can put like normal gloves, which gives resistances and some energy shield. because at this point with these unique gloves, my resistance is not even capped, but I don't have any troubles cruising through tier 15s. If you want to cap them, you can get any resistance gloves to just cover and your resistances. So we swap, and you can see my resistance is capped except the chaos. But I found with this one is it just fits my playstyle better. Next one is the belt. On the belt, it's pretty easy. Life and resistances, whatever you can get, just to cap out resistances. On the boots, the movement speed, the higher you can get, the better. I got with 30% increased movement speed, but I'm still kind of slow ass. But it's fine compared to how much I invested in this character, so I'm feeling good. So on the boots, it's movement speed, max life, mana at this point, because I just want to have little bit more mana room, and resistances just to cap out our resistances, if you can get. So basically that's it. On I forgot on amulet. You want increased spell damage, increased then +2 or +3 level to all spell skills if you're rich enough, then increased cast speed and whatever else you can get. And the most important part, you need to get at least, I think, 45 spirit. It's required for this. So on this one, I managed to get only with a +2 level all spell skills, but I got 48 to spirit, and we're using like most of all the spirit. So if you happen to have Widow Hail with 280% increased bonuses, then you can anoint an option which gives 20% more bonuses from equipped quiver. So that will totally bring you to 300 threshold point, and then you get one more to spark levels. At this point, I'm having only 250. So if you have only 250 or 300, and you can anoint the heavy ammunition, which is really cheap. I think it's like 1 exalt per one stuff to put in and make anointment. So it gives reduced attack speed, but it gives increased projectile damage, and that's 40%. So that's really a lot. And then next, some flasks. It doesn't really matter. On the charms, I'm just using immunity to poison, and it just gives a little bit of mana and life flask recovery when used. And we're using lightning resistance charm, which grants frenzy charge on use. But basically you can use whatever you want. It's not mandatory or whatever. So this is the gear overview. So I will include in the link the trade link from the website for the items, so you can basically purchase them yourself. As I said, it's pretty cheap, and I think so I paid for all of it really not much. Basically all of the items I paid probably like 20 exalts maximum. Some of them were only couple of exalts. I think on the quiver I spent around 25 chaos, if I'm not mistaken. On the amulet I spent around 30 exalt. I was lucky because this costs much more, but you can actually find quite of them, especially with offline trade. It's a lot easier than before just to get an item, so you don't have to PM people and deal with some that annoying stuff. So as I said, I will include the links in the description so you can purchase your items. Obviously look for your resistances to cap over, check for the Widow Hail. All we want to have is some certain breakpoints, so it's 250, then either 280 plus 20% of anointment on amulet, or 300% if you got lucky enough or you have that, because Widow Hail with 300% costs quite a lot. I think that's around 30 divs, maybe even more, so I'm not sure if it's worth to have it. I think it's better to have like 280. 280 should cost around 1 divine, I believe. So it's basically up to you what you want. And now once we over with that, we can go over the skills and how does it work. So first of all, we're using life remnants because we are running Bloodmage. And on the life remnants, it gives us remnants when we hit and kill an enemy, and that gives us extra life. So on this, we're using harmonic remnants too. We're using remnant potency, so we can basically get more life back. And we're using cannibalism, so 2% of maximum life recovered on kill while supported skill is active. So this helps to sustain our life as well, because when we cast, we are spending both our life and our mana, and as you can see, we have pretty high mana regen, but we have to sustain our life somehow, so this is actually good. Then moving on, next, our main skill is Spark. Don't forget to put the quality, because the quality gives increased projectile speed, and the more projectile speed we have, the better clear we have. On the support gems, we're using Sion's Temper. This is super cheap. I think I paid like 1 exalt for this, and is basically gain 1 wild shard on casting supported spells, and supported skills have 20% chance to fire 8 additional projectiles in a circle per wild shard. So as you can see, now I have 3. Let's cast 4, and now we spend all of it, and now we have all over the screen extra projectiles. So I'm using this. Then we're using projectile acceleration 3. So basically it gives 40% more projectile speed. Then we're using prolonged duration. So supported skills have 30% more skill effect duration. So they stay on the screen longer, and they hit the same. They can hit the same enemies multiple times. Then using efficiency, because supported skills have 40% less cost. Even with this, our cost is quite high, so it's kind of necessary on this at this point. And the last is rapid casting 2. Is supported skills have 20% increased cast speed. So basically, we can just cast faster and deal more damage in this. So, and as you can see, we have critical hit chance of 90% and critical damage bonus on 371. And because we're using that ring, which converts lightning damage to cold damage, we can check so our cold infused spark DPS, so we having almost double that, and we have projectile speed modifier of 253%. And then next one is cast on elemental ailment. So we just basically collecting the remnants of the cold one, and whenever we collect them, then our spark will get infused with cold infusion, and then we get more damage of it. So on the cast on elemental ailment, I'm using snap, I'm using flame wall, I'm using arc, I'm using harmonic remnants, basically just to create have a chance to create additional remnant, and boundless energy. So supported skills gain 40%, 45% increased energy. Then we're using siphon elements, and this is the same thing. We just need to collect those remnants when we kill the enemies. And then on support gems, we're using harmonic remnants 2 and cold mastery. Also, we're using frost bomb in case we just need some extra remnants. We can cast it. I can show you real quick. We cast it. It's on the end of the effect. You see those 2 remnants. We pick them up. We got cold infusion, and now our sparks are cold infused, and they deal much more damage. So this is some extra layer of damage. Like you can just cast it while mapping and just walk near them, collect them, and you'll deal more damage. So on the frost bomb, I'm using potent exposure, overabundance, and spell echo, so it casts twice. Then cooldown recovery, so it takes a little bit of less recovery speed, and then harmonic remnant, so it has a chance to create additional remnant as well. So this is all the skills. If you want, you can basically swap cast on elemental ailment to cast on critical. It's basically, it will give you same effect. I just like this kind of a little bit better, but that's just me, and it all depends whatever you want to do. It works both ways. So as I said, it works with a wand and quiver and focus, not quiver, but then you probably need to put 1 extra gem for chance to pierce, for the pierce, because it's really strong. So I mean, it's up to you, but this one is just a lot cheaper, because the wand and the focus will be much more expensive with some extra skill levels. So once we cover the items and we cover the gems, now we can go over the passive tree. So on the passive tree we're playing Bloodmage, and on the Bloodmage it's pretty simple. We're taking this one, which gives our life remnant skill, and then increased amount of life leached and 10% of spell of damage leached as life. And since we are having a zero acuity, leech from critical hits is instant, so basically we're instantly recovering our life from critical hits. And since we have over 90% critical hit chance, we almost all the time leeching the health instant. Then we moving next for increased critical hit chance for spells, and base critical hit chance for spells is 15%, so it helps a lot with critical hit chance. Then we're moving for increased maximum life, 25% of life loss and from hits is prevented, and then that much life is lost over 4 seconds instead. Then we taking one more life node, and last but not least, gain additional maximum life equal to your 100% of energy shield on your body armor. So I explained before, the more energy shield you have on the armor, the more life you'll get, because if I took it out, you can see 1.7, I put it back, it's 2.6. So it gives us a bunch of extra life on this. And now we can go over some passives and how it's looking. So basically we're just moving up here, just picking up some spell damage. We're taking increased spell damage. We're then moving towards 2 destinations. One destination here is for some spell damage. This is useless node for us, but we're taking this because of the increased critical hit chance for spells. Then we're moving upwards. We're taking all the crit nodes here. Then we're moving on the top, first of all right here. So we basically taking increased mana efficiency and increased mana regeneration rate, because we just have to sustain our mana, and then taking 3 points here just to recover percentage of mana on kill. So this helps to sustain our mana when mapping as well. Now moving on next, we take all the critical nodes here. Then moving on next, we're taking increased elemental infusion duration, and for some skills have chance not to remove elemental infusions. Then moving on next, we are just picking some freeze build-up nodes here. We're taking some nodes here until the increased lightning damage and increased attack and cast speed with lightning skill. So this basically gives us more cast speed because we're casting Spark, which is lightning skill. Then we moving all the way down here for all the critical nodes here, which we have. So it gives us a bunch of extra crit and extra crit bonus nodes. Then moving up next, +1 to maximum cold infusions. Then we go to the very top for some increased freeze buildup. Then we are moving on the left side just to have all those nodes of some sweet additional critical hit chance and critical hit bonus for our spells. And then we are moving on the right side. On the right side, we also taking all the critical node head chance. We're taking 3 points here for increased skill effect duration. So basically when we cast the Spark, we have them longer on the screen, so you don't have to, and they hit more enemies. So this is pretty actually good to have those. And we are moving next towards the more critical nodes. Upon we reaching this, reduce critical damage bonus, but it gives 50% increased critical hit chance. So this is the skill tree. And on the gems, on the jewels, basically you want increased critical hit chance, increased critical bonus, and spell damage, and then whatever you can get else. I got damage penetrates 8% cold resistance, and I got one more gem right here with almost the same stats. The higher the critical hit chance and critical hit bonus, the better, but they become costly. And also don't forget some spell damage on this as well. So this is the basically everything what I got. I still improving because it's, as I said, it's really cheap. and I invested little to no currency in this one, so I'm saving up for the next big upgrade. But for now, the clear speed's fine. I'm doing tier 15s with 5-6 modifiers, and I don't have much problems. Yes, you can die here or there, but basically overall it's really nice and easy to play, especially in tight areas, in the corridors, in the rituals or whatever, because you can basically just stand in spot, cast your sparks. Whenever the sparks kills enemies, you got instant life leech, you get instant mana recovery, life recovery. So you basically just stand there, cast your arc, and everyone will die around you, so you don't have to worry about that much. So I really like to farm some rituals with it, and especially in tight spaces, breaches, there's no problem. You can get pretty good clear speed there as well. So basically this is the build, and I'll probably do some update later on whenever I will upgrade. So probably I will upgrade to Widow Hill to have at least 30%, or maybe even I will just go with a wand and a focus, because with a wand and a focus you get much more damage on this, I believe, but they just will cost much more. I'll see what I'll do about this. Probably will go over the fully using our life, because of this season some of that stuff is really overpowered, and you can get some life recovery over 20k per second. So basically you can just cast your skill and just have instant life back. But as far as I checked, that gem costs around at least 10 divines, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even more. So that requires some more investment. So I'll see what I can do about this. But for now, this is it. And it's really easy, really fun to play. One button build, you don't need to think about too much, as always. And it's quite fun. So thanks for watching. Stay chill, hit hard, and see you in the next one.